No, no problem.
А вот здесь еще. Знаешь, они вот многие пишут с блестками.
Let us stand just at least down there to show you where the hotel is.
And you catch what he said about this way to go to the hotel, that way is what?
He'll show us another way to the hotel.
Peter more.
He says it's easier from here.
Watch your step. Come over here and watch your step.
There's a hotel.
There's a hotel over there. Yanti.
Right there.
Yeah. No, walk out this way.
Right here to the excellent.
Yeah, out, right out, straight out. Can't miss it.
Even by
I need the others also. If someone he don't know, it will be a problem. This is what, anybody riding horses right now? Walking? Inside there, we did found 5 tombs, which means 4 obelisks representing 4 tombs. Now what's representing the 5th? You know, there is 2 obelisks on the left, 2 on the right. In the middle, can you see a big niche?
Yeah. Yes.
Yes.
Seems that a person who was in a high rank during the Nabatean period, instead of an obelisk representing his grave, it was a statue. And the first story is what we call it funeral traclinium. You know what that means, funeral in English, yeah? But traclinium, you know, as I did mention, they used to offer blood for their god, but they used to eat the sacrifices in the funeral traclinium. Even I did say that in the New Testament it talks about when Jesus Christ, he laid in a traclinium. You know, traclinium, it's a dining room. With the guy were killed inside the sea. They were killed because of the flash flood. Maybe you discovered yesterday, and tomorrow you shall see it clear, that maybe yesterday, half an hour before we did park our bus at the hotel, we were driving all the way down hills, right? Right now we are walking downhill. It's not very steep, but it's downhill. You'll find out on the way back. And in rainy season, sometimes when we have heavy rain, when it starts raining in an areas like where Montreal Castle is, an area which is about 5,000 feet above sea level, yeah, about 1,500 meters above sea level. So when it rains heavily, water will be running in these wadi. You know, wadi means valley or dry river. So water used to get to Petra through the main entrance to the city, through the main entrance, the Sikh. So they were killed because of the flash floods. This is what makes the 1964 Department of Antiquities. They choose this place in case of any heavy rain or flash floods to divert the water, not to pass through the main entrance. This area, if you look carefully, was completely buried under the sand. So they start getting rid of the sand. Now when they reach the upper part of the rocks, they thought that they might need to carve like Nabateans. Suddenly, this tunnel was found. And this tunnel was carved by these good engineers 2,000 years ago for the same purpose, to divert the water, not to pass through the main entrance. Even on the other side of it, we did found the remain of a wall. Nabateans, they did build a dam, collecting water of flash floods or water of rainfall to use it for irrigation. Okay? Let's go to the shade now. Yalla.
Yeah.
When sometimes they carve, what they are going to do with for double purposes, what they are going to do with these rocks. Are they going to throw it? No. Recycle. They used to shape these stones, blocks of rocks. Yeah? And they use it for building their houses.
Wow.
Because later on we shall see, not now, I'm not going now, right now to talk about the living places. Later on, we are going to see, you can see tens of hills today, covered with blocks of rocks. It's the constructed part. Because you'll find out today in Petra, caves were used as burial places, living places. Nabateans used to build their houses. They used to build the churches. They used to build a few temples also, building. So there was use for it. Right, and there was the question about the implement. What type of implement they did use at that time? Well, during the excavation, flint was used. You know flint? It's a very hard stone. All of Petra is sandstones, soft and easy to be carved. But the question is, did they find any metal implement? No. They did not. No, they did not. It doesn't mean it wasn't used. Because if the Nabateans, they start to carve here since the 2nd century BC, iron was used since the 12th century BC. You know, the period of Moses is the Iron Age. Bronze was used since 3500 BC. Definitely. Metal implement, stones implement were used. Okay? Now,
But how they would use flames to carve it?
implement was found, you know. They make it like axes, they make it like these type
Chisels.
of chisels. Yes,
Just like that.
of course.
Possibly most of them were not recovered because, like a carpenter, he takes his tools with him. If they leave, they take their tools with them. They make
And
their tools.
exactly, they make their tools with them, and maybe two others they were making tools for them. We don't have to forget such people with such big cities, with such civilization here, or in Jerash tomorrow, what we're going to see day after tomorrow, yeah, and other places, yeah. They were having these chisels, and even they were using cranes lifting up these columns, and definitely, that's what we know about them. But definitely at that time, even they were having other methods also, and implements and so on were used in building, in carving such big temples and places and churches and. But right now, we'll be adding few words more about these subjects whenever we get to the right places for it. That's okay. Right now, this is the beginning of what we call it Siq, S-I-Q. You know, Siq, it's from the Arabic word shaq. Shaq in Arabic means what? The gorge or the canyon. Now, the length of this Siq is exactly 1,207 meters length, which is about 3,900 feet length. It's about 80 meters high, about 250 feet high. Now, this Siq, first of all, that's not man-made. Is it man-made? No. It was carved, that was carved by the fingers of God.
Oh, it's not man-made.
What causes this Siq is what? Water, earthquakes, and wind. You know, sandstones is soft. Even erosion affects a lot. Now this Siq was paved. You could see that these two lines of stones over here, and these are the limestones. Limestones was brought to Petra by Romans, because that was paved on 130 AD when Hadrian, you know Hadrian the Emperor, he visited Petra. And Hadrian the Emperor, he spent the winter season in Petra. But what did the effect on the Roman road? When Petra lost its importance since the 8th century AD, definitely hundreds of flash floods effect. Even Roman road was pushed. And by the way, when we talk, somebody is singing, somebody is explaining, and you know, competition as usual. You are a pain in my neck. Anyhow, now, so when it's flash floods, you know well that about half of the Siq was washed, the other half was buried down under the sand. And this is why 15 years ago, Swiss archaeologists, they started excavating in the other half of the Siq, and we did found part of the Roman road in a very good condition. Okay? And up there, you could see remain of an arch. You know, there was an arch here. We have the paint of David Roberts. You know David Roberts? His paint goes back to 1839. It shows how the arch was in a good condition when it was painted by David. Then, this arch was fallen down in 1896. Now you could see over here the water channels. You know, water, H2O. Later on the right hand side we are going to see the ceramic pipes. And people at that time could not see the water running that would remain pure. Which means that these water channels were plastered from inside, were covered with blocks of rocks and sealed, so that they could receive clean water to drink. And we shall see catch basin on our way. Now, I did say that when Romans, they came in 106 AD, 105 AD, while cutting the water supply, no water left, Nabateans surrendered. Now, we'll start walking right now in the gorge of Petra and the Siq. We'll be having about 3-4 stops on the way to explain about niches and so on. Okay? Okay. Everybody okay?
Yep.
runs, rain will get what? Small stones, yeah? Dirt, by time, might block the water channel as people could not see at that time water running, blasted, covered with blocks of rock, sealed. But as they were good engineers, because if they stop on receiving water, they're going to remove all these rocks, which is about 7 miles length, you know, the length of the water channel, about 11 kilometer length. They might end with about a few weeks or a few months without receiving water. As they were good engineers, every distance, like after about 100 meters from here on that side, you are going to see where water channels run. There is a big square, deep hole, about 3 feet deep. So there is small stone running with water, the stone will be dropped where the catch basin is. While having like this catch basin, they could keep on receiving water all the year round. By the way, come and stand over here. Erosion, while sitting here, will affect our water channels here. Wow! Actually, I've been asked a question about these black dyes. Of course, they were caused because of pressure, but the question was, are they basalt? No. Are they flint? No. They are what? Still sandstone. But what causes the colors on these rocks, you know, there is more than 40 different colors of rocks, is the mineral oxide. Like red color is iron, yellow, sulfur, green, copper oxide, white, silica. These black dykes is the, what's the color?
Manganese.
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 And while looking on these dykes, where Father Elia is sitting on part of Jordan, by the way, looks like the present map of Jordan.
Yeah.
How? That's the area where the peace treaty was signed between Jordan and Israel. I need to talk about it also. Now, look on these dykes. See the line up there? Looks like our border with Syria in the north. Our border with Iraq, if you look on the map of Jordan, looks like 2 fingers in the east, see? That's our border with Saudi Arabia, the southeast and the south, which means that is Jordan. Araba Valley, where the Red Sea, the Gulf of Aqaba is here. That's the Araba Valley, the border between Jordan and Israel. That's the Dead Sea. The line up there is the River Jordan, where we have been yesterday. The border between Jordan, where we are in the east, and Israel and the West Bank in the west.
You just described the Canadian map.
So, the Lord, He knew that there will be a country called Jordan with these borders. No need to buy a map, take a picture. Can we see in this big niche? Okay. We could see a big block of stone with the 2 square eyes, with the large consider the nose, and that was representing the main god for Nabateans, the god Dushara. You know, Dushara is the god of the mountains, and Dushara is an Arabian god. This god was worshipped in Arabia before the Islam. You know, Nabateans, they came from Arabia. That's a male god. Why? He have ears. Of course, erosion effect on his ears. He could listen. He have eyes. He could sacrifices. He have nose. He could smell the frankincense. No mouth. Don't talk. And these holes, by the way, seems to us they were for holding the plaster. Maybe here it was painted with fresco or faced with marble. Nothing left to prove it.
Yeah.
But we could see these two Ionic capitals, with the three lines with the circle, with the pediment on the top. That's a Greek influence. Now what's Greek doing with one of the Arabian gods? That could prove to us that these Nabateans who came from Arabia, yeah, in the beginning they were nomad Bedouins. And they became very wealthy while dealing with the traders. Then they start traveling like other traders from China to Europe. And while traveling from China to Europe, passing other civilization, seems to us in the beginning they start to hire masons to carve for them. That's why we could see a mixture of. Okay? Yalla. Now this Roman road, 15 years ago, used to reach my shoulder. This is where I'm standing right now, where most of you are standing. That's concrete. They did make it with the level of the Roman road. But when we go around the corner there, starting from there, we shall start to walk on the Roman road that was found 15 years ago. Was found in a good condition. But be careful. Few stones are smooth. Might have on it sand. And might be while walking down, you might see beautiful colors. You might keep on walking to see what's next to it. To remind you that we are walking in an archaeological site. Your safety is the most important.
والله سهرنا معاهم قالوا
This inscription says what? A person is named Sabinos. His father is Alexander, master of festival in Derar. We know nothing about Alexander, master of festival in Derar, or his son Sabinos. And the inscription says that when Sabinos he came to Petra, he did pay masons to carve this niche, donation for the city and the people of Petra. That gives us an idea that most of these niches were donations. Deraites were. Deraites in Syria. If anyone have watched the movie of Lawrence of Arabia, when Lawrence had been treated in a bad way by the Turks, happened in Deraa. It's on the closest Syrian border.
Let's watch both once we get
See the body of the man?
I could see it.
Sticking his hand, leading these camels down to Petra.
I'll be darned.
Leading this nice road.
See him?
Yeah. But maybe better to look at all these steps. Whenever people see steps, what's up there? Actually, that's the reason. It will move towards the channel over there. So the purpose for these steps, in case of heavy rain, waterfall, it will slow down the effect of water to protect their water channels. So we are right now like these camels behind me. On the way back, you'll be like these two camels over here.
Natural, right? Man-made.
I don't know. I've never seen that.
Жили здесь они.
looks like melted chocolate.
Yes.
Look on the colors now with this sunlight on it.
Wow.
Because of the light, different colors. Also, a question about the wall. Maybe I've seen several walls like this one here. Another one over there.
The water.
Now actually, 15 years ago, when the Swiss archaeologists, they start excavating inside the Sikh to reach the Roman road. At one night there was a heavy rain. They did find out that the tunnel at the beginning of the Sikh divert most of the water, but not all. This is what makes them the end doing what? Building these walls, concrete wall, facing it with stones from Petra, which means nowadays when we have heavy rain, maximum what will happen? Our feet will get wet. That's the story. Now let's walk together. Maybe in 20 years' time they will say Nabatean Dam 2,000 years old. That's the end of the Sikh. There is outer Sikh also. Small Sikh, we call it the outer Sikh.
So.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, do you prefer the shade or the sun? Now, ladies and gentlemen, the reason we are gathering here, first of all, to be away from the carriages, away from the sun, away from vitamin D. Yeah, even that the view for this facade from there is much nicer, but we are here. Go a little under and take your picture. But I'll be explaining right now about this facade. But maybe better to stand facing me. I think that's better, so that I don't have to go 360 degrees. Right now. I hope so far you had enjoyed walking inside the gorge of Petra, the Sikh, the main entrance. And when we get out of the Sikh, we could see what? The most beautiful, well-preserved monument in all of Petra. The name is El Khazne, means the treasury. First of all, this place, it has nothing to do with treasure. You know, was named the treasury by whom? By the locally, by the Bedouins. Why? They thought that the Pharaoh of Egypt, he hid his treasure up there. Is everybody okay standing, or do you want to sit over there?
Sit over there.
Sit? Yeah. Why don't you go and sit? Father, have a seat. Good idea? Was named the treasury by whom? By the locally, the Bedouins. Why? They thought that the Pharaoh of Egypt, he hid his treasure up there, where the urn is. So they start shooting bullets. Even from here, you can see the marks of bullets. Yeah? Anyway. Thinking what? While shooting bullets, what will happen? This urn will be broken. Treasure will collapse. They will get rich. But they were wrong. We did find out that the urn was representing a burial place for a king. So that's an Nabatean king tomb. And if they insist it's a treasury, I agree with them. It's a treasury because of you. Because of the tickets which is in your pockets. Now, we did not find any inscription to prove when this beautiful facade was carved. But according to most of archaeologists, seems that was carved during the period of the Nabatean king Arytas III. You know, Arytas III, his period was from 87 till 62 BC, the 1st century BC. Nabateans for carving, they used to carve starting from where? You can see the footprints on left and on the right side. Because they used to build the scaffolding starting from the top. The height of this facade, it's 40 meters high. 131 feet high. 28 meters wide. About 92 feet wide. It's carved out of 2 stories. Where you could see on the second story the urn in the middle, facing us the statue of Isis, the Egyptian goddess. Isis, or Isis. On left and right of the facade, there is the 2 Amazonian dancers, one on the left, one on the right, above my fingers here. They were holding axe in their hand. And the reason we say dancers, look on the rope or on their skirt. Either they were dancing or twisting, you know. And on both sides of the urns in there, can you see the 2 angels? I need everyone to see the angels here. Can you see the wings on their back? Father, can you see the angel? I need you to see this angel. Can you? Yes. The wings. Now you can take a picture, please. Right. Take a picture as much as you want, but from there is going to stop. From there. There. Sorry. Now, the reason I did show you the wings, that's a mistake by David Roberts. It was painted in 1939. Later on, when you go over there, good spot for picture, you are going to see that on their back it's not wings. It's actually straws of wheat. The goddess of fertility. I'm an angel, they are not. And the 2 pediments, one on the left, one on the right. When you stand outside, you're going to see 4 eagles. So these are 4 eagles beheaded, heads fall down. Even look over here, 1839, it shows the 3rd column was falling down. And the last thing on this facade, there is 2 mythological figures. Over there, it shows a horse with a man standing beside the horse. You can see it very clear here. Yeah. Above my finger. But better to see the horse where the 2 columns on the right. It shows the horse with the man standing. Now these men are representing the sons of Zeus. You know, Zeus, or Zeus in Greek, or Jupiter in Roman. And in the Greek mythology, horses could fly. Horses could fly. Pegasus? Pegasus. Now inside there is no decoration at all. There is 3 small rooms were used as Nabatean king's tombs. Nowadays we are not allowed to step inside. But the beauty of this place, what you could see it from outside. And to reach the place where worshippers used to stand, because that was a Nabatean king's tomb, later on became a temple. They need to dig deep for about 3.5 meters deep. About 12 to 14 feet deep to reach the place where worshippers used to stand, which means all this rubble need to be removed, you know, to excavate. Excavation in 2003, 7 years ago, was made here, down under. They did found he might add, like here, he did add wings here. Actually, it was straws of wheat. Yeah. Then he shows the horse here. Horse there. He been, you know, sometimes you see something, it's... Now, ladies and gentlemen, okay, may I have your attention, please?
You see lady in the blue t-shirt?
We are going there. But by the way, even that we have to talk about my cousin here. Last time we have taken as a group photo, I remember. He's the same guy. We have a photographer with us today. I know that makes you upset, but maybe next time, my brother. Now listen. There is a photographer, but we have a photographer with us. The plan is what? Just showing them the idea. Anyhow, somebody was asking about snow.
Yeah, me.
This upper facade is the monastery. It has very little to do with the monastery. It's one of the larger tombs but those of you who are more adventurous, it's definitely worth of climbing because it's probably 2 times larger than this.
So, shall we do the group photo?
Yes.
Now I think it's okay.
Yes.
We need to go. But Petra in history, it's under different names. Sela, during the period of Moses. When Petra was called by the Nabateans, was under the name of Rakim. Then Petra, during the Roman period. And nowadays, another name of Petra is what? The Rose Red City. Now, while looking over there, you could see the continuous of the ceramic pipe. I did miss to show you, maybe you have seen, most of you have seen on the right-hand side while walking down, the remain of ceramic pipe. If not, you can see it on the way back, it could be on the left-hand side on the way back. You could see pieces of ceramic in round shape, can you? As they used to receive the water from 7 springs. Yalla? Yalla. Next to it, the facade next to it. Can you see these small towers? Maybe better to see the towers where? On my right side, on the top. Top of the facade, you see the towers? Because these Nabateans who were like Assyrians and Babylonians believing in reincarnation. So mythology, mythology, as if these steps are helping their soil to go up these steps to reach the top. Because in all mountains of Petra, on the top of the mountains, we did found places for sacrifices. Thinking what? That the height is close to God. By the way, Father Elia just reminded me yesterday also to talk about what type of sacrifices was. So in a way of sense of humor and reality, 2 books were published about Petra. In one of the books they said that these Nabateans for sacrifices, they used to sacrifice children, offering their throat to their God. That's in one of the books. The second book they said what? Nabateans for sacrifices, they used to sacrifice virgins, which is a big waste. But actually, we are dying as guides to know from where do they get these information. We did found nothing to prove that these Nabateans for sacrifices, they used to sacrifice a human being, just animals. Even by some resources, believe that these Nabateans, they were the descendant of Abraham. Abraham's elder son is Ishmael, or Ishmael. Ishmael's elder son is Nabayot, mentioned in the Bible, book of Genesis, chapter 25, verse 13. As far as we know, that Abraham and his descendant, descendant of Abraham, descendant of Ishmael, descendant of Isaac, for sacrifices, they used to sacrifice only animals. Okay? So, we are dying to know from where do they get these information, sacrificing children and virgins. Anyhow. Now, let's keep on. Yalla. Is everybody okay? Yalla. There is a road from here to anywhere, but there is restrooms after about still 10 minutes from now, better ones. But for emergency, if anyone feels there's a need to. I was looking from here, no way to wait. So, if anybody is in need to use restrooms right now.
Otherwise, wait 10 minutes.
Smaller inside. Even above the entrances, you could see a line. Now the line above the entrance that was filled with plaster, where they used to write the name of the family. And if it was carved by a mason, they used to write the name of the mason by whom it was carved. Unfortunately, none of these plaster left in Petra. We did found in another Nabatean site plaster, but it's not in Jordan, it's in Saudi Arabia.
And there are several of them, one is particularly big.
Yeah.
After you told me, I went to research. And there are 4 or 5 sites in Saudi Arabia, not quite as impressive as Petra, but it's impossible to access them because Saudis don't want foreign tourists or anything like that. That was all part of the Nabatean Kingdom. Beautiful tombs, a lot of surviving, but it's a chore to get there. It's next to impossible.
Because Saudis, they are not interested in showing people sites that was worshipped before the Islam. Yes. Actually, so that's the first of all, I will answer your question later on. But right now, you could tell the difference, you know, between the high society. Even later on when we go down there where the shade is, you're going to see better shot for these facades from down there. And I'll be adding few words more what was found during the excavation. But for me, just allow me for the last two seconds. On the way back, if anyone wish to enter to any of these burial places, you could. But if you want to enter to one only, look on the facade over there. The first from the left, yeah? Inside there it shows 17 graves where they used to put two bodies in one grave. With the beautiful color of the rocks. That's a place I recommend if you want to enter to one at least. Okay? The first one, no, the big one. No, not this one. No. The other one is used by donkeys. Lots of donkeys inside the first one. This one ahead. See the oleanders? Just behind, up there. By itself, higher, bigger. That can give us an idea about the position. As an example, 1974. Professor Kausa Gayadin from the Department of Antiquities. He did excavate up there. He did found a tomb that was robbed by two brothers. By the way, only, you know, there is in Petra more than 880 facades. You know, you know what's a facade. And all these facades were used as burial places, tombs. And during the excavation, only 7 graves were found undisturbed. In these 7 graves, we did found valuable things like rings, earrings, bracelets were found. The rest of these tombs have been opened and robbed by tomb robbers. And so in 1974, from the Department of Antiquities, you know, Professor Kausa Gayadin, he did excavate up there. He did found the tomb was robbed by tomb robbers, but not everything in it was robbed. He did continue the excavation, and he did found rings. He did found inscription there. It says what? That there is the tomb of Anesho. A person, his name, Anesho. And Anesho, he was brother of Queen Shakilat II. Now, 11 kings ruled in Petra, and the Queen Shakilat, her period was from 70 till 76 AD. And at that time, when they used to say the brother of the queen, they mean what? The prime minister of Shakilat. So after that's a burial place for Shakilat.
I love the name.
Shakilat.
I can remember that.
Shakilat. Chocolat. I prefer chocolat. Chocolat. Queen Chocolat. Shakilat II. Again, you can see the Nabatean capital up there. Yeah. See how beautiful now the sun in the right direction. I've been asking a question if these are burial places where people they used to live. To talk about it, I'll leave it after restrooms. Is that okay with you? Okay. As Petra, was it used as necropolis? No. We'll talk about the living places after restrooms. How could they carve a theater on part of their own cemetery? Now this theater, by the way, maybe if it was a small theater during the Nabatean period, definitely if it was not carved during the Roman period, was enlarged during the Roman period. Definitely. In this theater, it had 33 seat steps, the capacity for about 4,000 spectators, 4,000 seats. By the way, if you are in any Roman city, if there is a theater, you want to estimate population, you know what you need to do? Just multiply number of seats by 10, which means population was about 40,000 people. Few books they said 7,000 seats. No, we did count the seats, 4,000. And over there, see how beautiful the colors here. Up there, yeah. Even a few seconds ago it was different. Now because of the cloud, yeah. The colors. Okay. Let's give next stop exactly. It will be at the toilet stop, but I will point it to you an elephant on our way from erosion. Or rhino. Eating his blood on the rocks. Over there, from erosion. 2 dolphins kissing each other. Dolphins. And dolphins they do kiss. I've seen them in Miami. And tomorrow I'll show you dolphins from the Roman period. Carved for dolphins in Javan. Day after tomorrow. Roman period. This place here, let's say on the way back, if someone feels they'd like to come to sit, to have another banana or orange, yeah, why not? This nice view. Now, to answer your question, where is the lady? She asked me about where people they used to live. Now, I've been asked a question about where people they used to live, right? 91% of Petra still under the sand.
Wow.
You could see only 9% of this city. You see, and to see the just 9%, you need a full week. But today with me, we could cover more than 70% of Petra, because most of the facades are in the valley of Petra. Because sometimes my people need to hike up for 600 steps, yeah, or 800 steps where the monastery out there is to see one facade. Now, living places, was Petra used as necropolis only? No. Nabateans, they were not like Romans. We know well that Romans, their burial places, their tombs was outside the city wall. But Nabateans here, there's burial places, there is temples, and there is living places. Now, Nabateans, they did use the caves as burial places. Living places, they used to build their houses, constructed their houses, even from here. Look on the hill down there. It's covered with blocks of rocks, and you shall see more hills further down, where the 91% of Petra is, where they need to excavate. What did the effect on their houses? 2 major earthquakes here. 29 years ago, we're excavating up on the hill. They did find a floor of the kitchen. A skeleton of a lady was found, and her hands around her head like this. Well, it seems to us that this lady, she was trying to run away to get out of her home during the earthquake of 363 AD, when the ceiling fell on her. So logically she put her hand to protect herself, but she was killed. According to archaeologists, this earthquake damaged and destroyed most of the city. Sorry, half of the city. Maybe the lady, she was killed now. While they were excavating, they did find beside her skeleton a jar full of coins, 400 coins in it. And I'm just using my imagination again like the map. Maybe the lady, during the earthquake, she went back to the kitchen, yeah, where she was hiding her treasure, her money, but at that time it was too late when the ceiling fell on her.
There's a parable in that.
Now,
I'm not sure what.
the rest of the city have been damaged and destroyed according to ECOR. You know, ECOR, by the way, stands for what? American Center for Oriental Research. And ECOR started to excavate in Jordan and the Holy Land since a century ago. So in May 1992, American archaeologists, they start excavating. When we go even around the corner, I'll point to you the white shelter where the church is. They did find the Byzantium church. They reached the floor of the church. They did find papyrus, but the floor of the church is about 64 square meters of mosaico, about 700 square feet of mosaico. But the church was burned and was destroyed during the earthquake of the 7th century AD. According to archaeologists of the ECOR, this earthquake damaged and destroyed the rest of the city. So where people they used to live, it's under the sand. If these are burial places 2,000 years old, and you could see how erosion affects, you know, sandstone. They were very wealthy. What about their houses? It was something. You know, a villa was found. You know what's a villa? A villa? Paved with marble, painted with fresco, but they did build a big fence around it. They are afraid of our children who might step inside, scratching and scrolling their names all over the place. Where we did have a very bad example in many sites in Jordan, among them Little Petra Secret Marriage, where we have been this morning. So where people they used to live, it's still under the sand. As we are seated, you know, while looking up there, even I'm not going to take you up there now. You'll be having free time. You could make up your mind if you wish. We'll stay all together as a group, but I'm going to end my explanation at the far end. The easy way. Yeah, I mean it. Now up there is what? The first facade, you could see it from the right-hand side. That's the urn tomb. You remember this morning I did say the urn was representing a Nabatean king tomb. If you look on the top of the facade, I know that erosion effect, but can you see the pediment on the top? Yeah. On the top of the pediment, you could see the urn. So it was named by archaeologists the urn because of the urn. But up there, as it was used by the last Nabatean king Rabel II. But inside there, we did found a Greek drawing inscription. It says what? A bishop whose name Jason. Jason, he came from Ephesus. You know Ephesus now? Yeah. Present Turkey. And the bishop, whose name Jason, he came all the way from Ephesus down to Petra here, converted the place to a Christian cathedral. Next to it, when we go around the corner, you're going to see a facade with beautiful colors. The name is the Silk Tomb. Why? Because colors looks like water silk. The third facade, that's the Corinthian tomb. Was named the Corinthian because of the Corinthian capitals. If you look carefully, the upper part of it looks like the treasury, right? But we could see how erosion and time did affect. Even when it rains in Petra, all these facades, they get wet, except the treasury remain dry, well protected, the most well preserved. Now, are you done with your drinks?
This has something like
How you doing, Barbara? Okay?
Yeah, how about you?
Okay.
I'm going to take a nap when you get home.
Yeah, well, I'm not climbing the wall.
I don't want to go.
So at that, and exactly. So. And then I said to him, my answer to him was, well, you know the name. I said, I am Petra.mp4. I'm the person who did restore the Archgate. And he told me about his colleague, Crystal Bennett, and what's happened at that time. Then he said to me, Michelle, could you please mention my name whenever you are in Petra? And I did promise.
Okay. Okay, just one more comment. As I mentioned to you about the extra sites. You see the white canopy over there?
yeah.
That's where the church is with Byzantine mosaics. So that was excavated. With the white canopy over there. So we're going to go on the lower path, but if you don't want to go to the monastery to hike, if it's too strenuous for you, at least go to see that, and then you may go and see the cathedral if you'd like.
On the way back.
On the way back, on the way back. Let's stay as a group.
Okay? See how smart the girls are sometimes? Sometimes they might pretend giving you something and leave it for you, so you might end up, you know. And that's the wild pistachio tree. Pistachio, you can start to see the pistachio grown on it. Yeah. But the pistachio grown on this tree is not like the nuts, or that's the pistachio we buy from places that sells nuts. They remain small, round, about the size of a lentil. We eat them. We roast them, mix them with raisin, eat them in winter, keep us warm and give us energy. Ahead, from erosion on the top, what can you see? Looks like what? A camel. Yeah. Now, I think instead of from here, instead of walking straight ahead on the coronated street, Then when you walk back, you'll be walking back on the Coronated Street. Yeah. Let's take you through this hill to the left. Yeah. It'll be a nice review for the Coronated Street. Even it's much easier than walking here. Because here you may start to feel as if you are walking on the beach. Yeah. There was the shops. You can still see remain of shops. But these shops with the columns have been washed because of the flash floods. Again, Joash, day after tomorrow, we are going to walk on Ricardo Maximus, the Roman road, in a very good condition to compare it to this one. And you can see down there where the camels, the two camels are passing right now, they are passing through the arch gate. The gate that was restored in 1960s by Petra.mp4. And up these steps, another great excavation has been done by another American archaeologist from Brown University. They did excavate and restore the temple up there, and that was named the Great Temple. See the Temenos area, above is the Holy of the Holy, and they did find out that there is 164 columns. 164 columns around the temple and the Temenos area. And the Holy of the Holy also.
Did they build this wall too? This is original?
Of course, that's from our period, but there was a wall here during the Nabatean period in case of flash floods, Father. You where Elder is, the museum is, and but by the way, we did stop over there where the village is to picture it after Little Petra, right? Remember?
Yes, yes.
We were looking on the freestanding building and the white shelter where the church is. Now, the freestanding building here, even on the brochure you have it with you, it says what? Qasr al-Binit, the name of the place, number 22. Qasr in Arabic means palace. Binit means the daughter. Another place like the treasury having a wrong name. Now this place have nothing to do with the palace. Because when people they start to write books about Petra, you know, they want to fill a book. Few sentences more, few pages more. They did end up doing what? Asking the locally. Do anybody know that this building was used for what? Locally they said to them, you know, the Bedouins who don't know the history of this place, hey, that's a palace. I said, okay, palace for whom? Then they said, when the daughter of Pharaoh of Egypt, she visited Petra, they built for her this palace. So they wrote Qasr al-Binit. Nothing in history proves that Pharaoh or his daughter have been here. Nothing. And this freestanding building later on in the Temenos area, you know, the Temenos is the place where worshippers they stand outside the temple. Yes, but up there is the Holy of the Holy. We did found inscription says that this is the temple that was built for the god Dushara. We have seen this god inside the Sikh. You know, the block of stone, two square eyes, you know, the god of the mountains, the Arabian god. And this god, or this temple, I believe, that was built during the period of the Nabatean king Aretas. You know, Aretas IV, who is the only Nabatean king whose name is mentioned in the Bible, because his period was from 9 BC till 40 AD. And we'll talk more in more details about it tomorrow when we go to Makeros, place where John the Baptist was beheaded. And by looking on the middle of the wall, you could see blocks of, actually pieces of wood, can you? Yeah. And Nabateans, they did use the juniper wood in the freestanding building, thinking what? In case of earthquake, it will slow down the effect of earthquakes. But we could see very clear how earthquakes and time did affect. Next to it, that's a new building. Of course, you know well that's not Nabatean. That was the only hotel in Petra, Nazal Camp.
Really?
My father several times did have overnight here. And when it was full, tourists, they used to have the overnight in the police station in the village, in Wadi Musa. When they used to charge them 25 piastres on half-board basis on the police station as guests. Of course, if they were prisoners, it would be full board, drinks included, for free. And up there, that's another burial place. Yeah. But actually up there, before 1992, it was the museum up there. Then they did find out people who would like to go up there. It's a bit difficult, you know, a few steps are broken steps. They did end in 93 next to the Basin restaurant. where I'll be walking with you passing the basement restaurant where there is a small museum. It shows what was found during the excavation. By the way, you can see the museum in 4 or 5 minutes. It's small. It shows the Nabatean pottery, which is like the porcelain nowadays. And from there, I will point it to you, the track that goes up to the monastery Elder. Okay? Now reaching here, it will be the end of your tour with me, with my explanation. I do hope that you had enjoyed.
You have to disappear, are you?
Oh, thank you.
You want to disappear?
I'm going to disappear. I've been here before. What shall I do?
That's right.
I don't have a camera to picture also.
Are you still here? I thought you disappeared already.
No, no.
It is in the process of disappearing.
Okay, shall we speed up the
Smells
process?
like food.
Yeah.
Actually, there is here 2 restaurants.
No.
There is down there, they charge 10 dinars. Over there, they charge 17 dinars and 5 piastres. I don't know why the 5 piastres. That's the rate, 17
But that one
dinars.
spot back there is the cheaper one.
But tell you something, in Petra, I like food, but in Petra, walking a lot up Elder or walking up, better to have something light. So on the way back, if you'd like to have another banana, find out this shop that have maybe
the one
cheaper
in
price,
Euclid.
maybe you might have it.
Where they have the coffee.
Yeah.
They have restaurants downstairs.
No, sorry. Okay, I'll show you where restrooms are on our way. Again, remind you about dinner tonight, 7 o'clock. Okay, and tomorrow wake up at 5:30, 6:15, luggage and breakfast. 7 tomorrow in the morning we leave the hotel.
Пошли.
Такие зверюшки, видишь какие? Может быть, это коты?
Il a